Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about Mother's Day. Join us as we share what we would change about the holiday, special memories, what we hope for this year, and more. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about Mother's Day, and if you're listening on the day this episode is released, then you have about 10 days until the big day. And a big day it truly is. Americans spend approximately $25 billion on Mother's Day gifts each year, and it's one of the highest spending occasions. And we make approximately 122 million phone calls and purchase about 250 million flowers. In fact, 75% of all flowers purchased for the holidays are bought for Mother's Day. And that one was surprising to me because I would have thought that Valentine's Day was the highest selling flower holiday. Wouldn't you guys have thought that?
Wow. I am surprised.
Well, but everybody has a mother.
True. That's true. Yeah. So, 75% of all the flowers purchased for holidays are on that day. So, every flower shop has got to be open. Like, if you're closed that day, you're out of business.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So, it's obviously a big spending, big deal holiday. I would be interested to contrast those statistics with the Father's Day, but I don't think we want to depress the men.
I'm sorry. I'm not worried about the men. I'm already going into this. Bryce asked what we were podcasting about, and I told him the topic. He was like, so you're going to talk about how Mother's Day, they all wish it was Father's Day? As awesome as Father's Day? I'm like, I know. It's like universal. Father's Day is so much better. So,
well, I don't think Americans are spending the money they spend on mothers on fathers. But still, maybe the Father's Day is more relaxing.
Yes, they get their whole month.
Right. But Julie, you have a little background for us on how Mother's Day got started.
Apparently, there's some different origins in different countries, so I'll stick with the United States. But Anna Jarvis, she was from Philadelphia, and she was kind of known as an activist, and her mother was too, and she had organized women's groups to promote friendship and health. And this is back at the turn of the century, the early 1900s. So she's the first one to organize a Mother's Day. And it was just a memorial service at her mother's church in West Virginia. And then it just kind of took off and became this bigger and bigger thing. And then finally, President Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday. And what's kind of interesting when you were talking about how big it's become commercially, that's something that Anna hated. In fact, she spent the rest of her life trying to renounce it. She didn't like that it had turned into kind of a commercial thing with cards and flowers. That's not what, that wasn't her intention. It was just to honor your mother, spend time with her,
right.
Make a day with her. Yeah. Said she spent the last years of her life trying to abolish the holiday.
Which that's like trying to stop a locomotive. How are you going to abolish once people have figured out they can make money selling things for Mother's Day? It's not going away.
Right.
Which is the very thing she hated about it.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. That's interesting.
I love how that started. Great intentions there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now that we know how Mother's Day got started and the history of it, we've done a few Mother's Day episodes, and so we didn't want to do exactly the same thing we've done in the past. So this time, one of our things that we were supposed to think about was if you were going to design Mother's Day and you were going to start a national holiday, what would you have it be like? So I'm really interested in what ideas you guys have for this. Who wants to go first?
Well, I just thought, what if, I would probably make it in September.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's really any other than Labor Day. There's not a lot of holidays in September. Kids are back in school. Things just seem easier in September. May was a bad choice.
Yes.
May was the wrong month for mothers. And I happen to have 2 kids' birthdays in that month. So it's just crazy. Even though they're not in school anymore, it just hasn't really lightened up any. But I think it would be cool to make it only, and not, I wouldn't limit it to just mothers, because there's other women in your life you honor on Mother's Day, aunts and grandmothers and nieces and nephews and sisters. But all the public places would be women only. Like at a restaurant, at the zoo, at the park.
That's super cute, Julie.
No men allowed. Like,
Ooh,
and you get in free.
Yeah, and every mother wants to be no children or men. So yeah, it's just all the world is for moms and women that day, and the men are home keeping the kids, and and you just get to enjoy like the movie theaters. Everything would just be no kids, no men. That
and
day.
they would play chick flicks.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
my
other
goodness.
moms like being with other moms, and
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it would be fun. No, that's more true when my kids were little than I would say now. But I just thought that would be kind of fun, just to really make it about women, because when you make it about lunch, guess who that falls on?
Right.
Usually.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
true. Sounds like we're going to have a really great new holiday if we can kind of change it up a little bit. I'm totally loving Julie's ideas there. My first thoughts when I started thinking about how would I make this the perfect holiday, I was like, I'm going to come in and bump Father's Day because I want June. June always is awesome. You're out of school. It's warm. It's happy weather. And we can bump the fathers to July. I say just put us both in the summer. Everybody's happy. And so that was the first change I was going to make. And then the second change is I was thinking about all of the different needs that moms have through the years, so thinking about Mother's Day in stages. And so, how there's like the silver anniversary, there's the gold anniversary, like with your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with Mother's Day, I was going along that lines and I was like, okay, a mother that has one child that's birthed to 5 years, give that woman a nap and a quiet house. The father needs to take the kids, right?
Yeah.
If they are 5 years old to 18, mom just wants them all to get along.
Right.
Can we cut down on any sibling rivalry? All right. And also, I feel like there should be bonuses for extra children. So each child you have, there should be a bonus and maybe a dollar amount. Now, sometimes moms, yes, sometimes moms just need a break. Sometimes they want you to buy them a gift. Sometimes they want to go buy themselves to buy the gift. Sometimes they want the house to themselves. And then I think once we get to the point where we're getting into that empty nest years, I think we want to see our children again. Bring them back. Okay. Right. Because at that point,
we're ready for you.
At that point, we are ready for you. We're able to take naps when we want to. Hopefully we're getting sleep at night, depending on where you're at. Right. And then, you know what? I don't care about a gift. I want your time, your attention. Maybe look at me for more than 3 seconds when you're talking to me. And also still, please all get along.
Yes.
Never not
still
get
crucial.
along.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love those ideas. I don't know if I went into so much specifics. I definitely think changing the month. I mean, May is just a travesty. And also my birthday is always within a few days of Mother's Day. So I feel like one of those Christmas Eve babies where, they just get lumped in with Christmas. I feel like my birthday just gets lumped in with Mother's Day. And, after 50 years, you kind of want your own day. But anyways, also I don't know exactly how I would change it, but I think that it should be a day, and I don't know how you could even do this, but like mothers should not be required to lift a finger. Like I love your idea.
Father's Day.
Yeah. Like someone else plans it. Someone else prepares the food. Someone else decides what you're going to do, but they also know you really well and they pick something that you want to do. Like, I think that's probably what gave men the idea of let's have our kids cook mom breakfast in bed. Like that probably came from a place of let's pamper mom. I never have spoke to a woman that actually enjoys their children making them breakfast in bed, but I think it came from that place. But yeah, like more moms, like for me, I would appreciate not having to think of what we're going to do on Mother's Day and what food we're going to have and what time it's going to be. And like by the time you've thought of all that, it feels very exhausting.
Yeah, carrying that all the emotional load of it, and is the tiring part. And something you said, Marie, that's funny is like you would like your husband to plan it or the kids to plan it, but you also, it's kind of scary. You also at the same time would have to be happy with what they planned, because that's how breakfast in bed came about. You know what I mean?
Okay, know your mother and your wife.
Yes.
I'm not opposed to planning it. And I actually get excited to tell my family what kind of food we're going to have. So
okay.
I'm okay with that. I think that's come out of years of knowing that if I didn't say, I was going to have to be happy with what they chose. And I don't know, I have my own ideas about what I want.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. And that in turn helps you. I guess the whole thing behind it was alleviate the mental load of mothers on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Whatever she needs in that season. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we're going to be any more successful than Anna Jarvis was in eliminating Mother's Day. We're probably not going to move the buds, but maybe we can help to alleviate some of the mental load by putting these thoughts into the minds of women everywhere, and they can share that with their children and their spouses.
And husbands. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I did read, and I don't remember, in some countries they do Parents' Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How would you feel about that?
No. I want my own. No. I'm not sharing. That's what your anniversary is for.
What countries do that, Julie? Do you know?
I don't remember. I just remember reading that, and I thought, well, that's interesting because it would cut down on a holiday.
Yeah. But
okay, I feel like this is a misconception, and let's just go ahead and put this out here. I didn't think I was going to ask this, but I feel like I should. Okay. I feel like there's a misconception that when women think about celebrating their husbands for Father's Day, they fully embrace the planning, the gift, the execution. Somehow I think men in general start out with the idea that the children should be gifting the mom, because that's not my mom. Like, it's the children's mom. So then they'll leave it to the children. Is this an issue for you guys?
Again, that's where breakfast in bed probably came from.
Yeah. And the children are not going to be capable of planning a nice Mother's Day for a long time. So yeah, the spouse needs to recognize that you're going to be planning Mother's Day until you can someday confidently hand this off to an adult or almost adult child.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it matters or makes a difference if you have boys or girls planning?
Yes.
Yes, I do think so.
Mindy?
I think if the boy is married and your daughter-in-law is planning, then that can make a huge difference too. But I think like a 10-year-old boy, a teenage boy, a college boy, they're not going to plan the same way a girl would.
We had to get through this in early marriage years, Bryce and I, and that's why I brought it up, because my expectations were here and his were there. And I do remember specifically saying, Bryce, you have to step in. Like this, I am not your mother. I am the mother of your children, which I then said, which is even more important. Sorry, Carol. And it's funny because he was like, oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking, I was like, why do you think Father's Day is so great? It's because of me. Yeah. You're not my father.
Yeah. And usually, Mindy, you've said that a lot of years you happen to be on vacation that year. So it's even better for Bryce.
Oh, that's our family vacation. It's on Father's Day.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bumping him. Sorry, Bryce. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of our favorite Mother's Day memories, because even though we joke, I would say, I really can't even think of a bad Mother's Day that I've had. So I really can't. I think it's just funny to laugh about Mother's Day because I don't know. It's easy pickings. Like when I see episodes on the middle about Mother's Day, like I think maybe too, because we have a lot of internal feelings about Mother's Day and the things that happen, or maybe like worries that our expectations won't be met, or maybe we have a few disappointments, but we forgot about them over the years. But I just say over in general, I don't really have any bad Mother's Day memories. I have more, funny ones or sweet ones.
You're lucky,
Yeah.
Marie. You're very lucky.
I want to hear the bad ones though, Mindy. If it's like a yellow Frankie Heck's yellow pants situation, we need to hear.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Mindy, do you have one you want to share?
Oh my gosh. I don't have a yellow pants situation, but I think that the year that brought on the discussion of, Bryce, you're going to have to organize this, came because we went to church. We then went to Publix, where Bryce took the kids inside, had them pick out something they wanted for me.
Day of?
Which happened to be a plant. Oh, same. I'm waiting in the car.
Okay.
Because that's what the kids decided. I was like, no more. No more letting the kids plant. They are not allowed.
Right.
And so lowering my expectations, though, and making it known what would be loving towards me. Do you know, like, were you guys ever in the point of your marriage that, like, I couldn't even put to words what I wanted?
Right.
I think I had a lot of expectations. My expectations were not met. And honestly, to make a healthy marriage, you've got to be able to talk about it. And so my problem is I don't. And this is something I've had to learn how to talk about out loud, because as soon as I said something, immediately, I mean, every year since then has been, what do you need? What do you want? What would be meaningful? And so I just had to let that known. I had not done that. So I'm putting that on me, but we have gotten so much better.
That's good, Mindy. That's really good. All right. Well, let's talk about some good Mother's Day memories. Julie, do you have one that you want to share?
Yeah, like you, I don't really have any terrible ones. I have some funny ones. One in particular that sticks out, but one in particular that stands out in my mind is a really good one. And just because it was kind of a unique situation, it wasn't our normal Mother's Day. We decided to take our children to New York City, and it happened to be Mother's Day weekend. I don't even think we realized that when we planned it, And so we were going to stay at, I think, an Embassy Suites hotel. And on the way in, John, I think he was a member of like a rewards program, and he asked if there were any nicer hotels available. And they said, well, yeah, we have an opening at the Waldorf. And he goes, oh, I'll take it, because it wasn't for any more money. I think it was actually a little less. So he said, yeah. And then when we get there, he asked for an upgrade, and they upgraded us to the Waldorf Towers, which was like a 4-room suite with the black and white marble bathroom and the tapestry bedspreads, real furniture, luxurious robes. And it was just really awesome. It was our kids' first trip to New York City. So everybody was treating them really, because they were young, and making it a special thing. Beautiful flowers throughout the hotel. And, it was just really, really a neat Mother's Day, because I think everybody in the hotel thought we had really planned it that way. That's like they were giving John,
props for getting you there.
Yeah. It's like, well, we kind of forgot it was Mother's Day, but yeah.
Wow. I feel like you could never top that. That is amazing.
I know. And I never expected it to be topped, because it was just one of those, it was just serendipity. It just kind of happened, and it was just awesome.
Yes.
And I've told this story before too, because I fell in love with the soap at the hotel. I loved it. And I came home and Googled, what soap that was, because I remember seeing the name on the package. And shortly after, I get a box of 100 bars of that soap from John.
And it took you 10 years to use them up.
Yeah. So I guess that's why that sticks in my mind, because it was associated with that weekend. So
it's so sweet.
Yeah. I love that story. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, Mindy, do you have a special Mother's Day?
Okay. Well, it's kind of funny, because my idea of special is very different than Julie's story there, which was amazing. So have very low expectations for everything that I share.
Okay.
Also know that it doesn't take much to make me happy.
Okay.
I'd say I loved my first Mother's Day right after Abby was born. That was actually very meaningful to me, to become a mom. So I do remember that being very, very meaningful to me. But I think the year that I finally thought, well, what do I enjoy? And it's not trying to get reservations at the restaurant that's crowded. It's not trying to go out to eat when the kids are cranky. It's not even being necessarily dressed up. It was, if we are all happy and having good conversation, everybody's content, that's really what I want. So the year that I finally let expectations go, I'll say outside expectations that really weren't mine, we ended up going to Moe's after nap time on a Sunday. And that actually meant a lot to me because I remember feeling so free. I was like, why have I held on to certain like expectations of what I thought Mother's Day was supposed to be? I don't even enjoy that. So I think that freedom allowed us to really enjoy it. And we just went to Moe's. We were casual. We were rested. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think that's key in matching what you actually enjoy to the day.
Yes.
But it's true. Your expectations are we're so influenced, as we've talked about what it should look like and what it should be and what everybody else is doing. And I'm with you, Mindy. Like, that's not necessarily every year. I think about what's the best brunch space in the city,
Right.
And I never have the reservation in time. And I think, I don't even know that I would enjoy that, like getting dressed up, being in a crowd. Like, I'd much rather have tea and cake on my back porch.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And just being with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite Mother's Day is when my oldest was a senior. So all the kids were older by then. And we went to hike at a Tennessee State Park, and then we ate Mother's Day lunch at the restaurant there. And so that was truly my favorite Mother's Day because I didn't know this, but Steve had told all the kids before we left that they had better not fight or argue the entire day. And they didn't. And we just had really fun conversations on our hike, and we had fun at lunch, and nobody fought in the car on the way there or back. And it was just such a wonderful day. It still sticks out in my mind as just a perfect day. So I laugh when you say about, and nobody fights, because that is truly a wonderful day when nobody fights.
Yes.
Yes, I've requested that before. Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's key to making this a good day.
I've heard Bryce yell at the kids before I walked in the room. It's Mother's Day. You're not supposed to be fighting.
Yeah.
It's the same rule in our house. And that's my favorite thing. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah. That you don't have to referee any sibling arguments for one whole day.
Yeah. My words are ask Dad. Go to Dad.
Right.
Dad's got it.
Yeah. And this isn't a Mother's Day memory per se, because it was actually my birthday, but my birthday is always within a few days of Mother's Day, so I kind of associate it all together. But this was back in May of 2020, so people were mostly still sticking to like family gatherings, and my kids were out of school, and my older kids didn't have college classes, and my husband's travel was it had stopped, and my birthday was on a Thursday night. So this will never happen again. Like, my birthday's on a Tuesday night this year, and it could never happen because I already know my husband's out of town. But like this year in 2020, it was on a Thursday night, and everyone was able to come over. And my son and daughter-in-law, they made delicious, fancy homemade pizzas. And then they made my favorite dessert, which is chocolate mousse. And we took a lot of pictures and we hung out, and I didn't need to do any of the cooking. I remember I even went into the kitchen to kind of help, and I was told, no, you go enjoy. We're taking care of it. And that's such a great memory, because that's what I was saying before, if I was going to design a Mother's Day, it would be like, no, you put your feet up. We'll take care of the details.
Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah. That's an awesome memory, Marie. Especially in the year 2020. I mean, we really do need to look back and find those fond memories.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other Mother's Day memories that you want to share, like special ones or ones that didn't turn out quite the way you expected? Julie, I feel like you could share about the Sonic.
Yeah, like this was kind of like what Mindy said. This was kind of the turning point where I had to say, okay, we need to think about this ahead of time because as great as John was, he was the best gift giver. He was, just thoughtful. He was always thinking of me. But I think on Mother's Day, he kind of thought, well, you're not my mother, and left it to kids or didn't realize what actually went into cooking lunch, because he just didn't stress about stuff like that. But I guess he thought we'd just go out, after church to lunch and not realizing that that's everyone's plan.
Right.
And so we were with another family. So we had 5 kids between us and 4 adults. That's quite a large group to try to find last minute on Mother's Day. So I think we drove to several restaurants. Oh, it'll be a 2-hour wait or we don't have anything, And by this time, everybody's really getting hungry and cranky. And so the only place left was Sonic.
Good old Sonic.
Good old Sonic. Always comes through. So, on that Mother's Day, I probably had a corn dog or and a slushie. And I remember this particular Sonic had an outdoor fish pond, which is no longer there.
Fancy
and I
Sonic.
think it was Fancy Sonic.
Waterfront property.
Probably not there because of what happened. But, David's in his little smocked outfit. He's probably like 3. And we're not paying much attention because it's Mother's Day, and they're being quiet over here, playing in the yard or whatever. And David fell in that pond, and those are not really clean. And he had on his Sunday best, and he did not deal well with
the koi poop on his outfit.
Yeah, the koi poop and the algae and all that. So that was pretty much got to go home now.
Yeah, and
that was the end of the day.
Kid in your car with all that on it. We've had multiple rides home with naked children and clothes sopping wet.
Yeah,
I can't
that
imagine
day probably didn't get much better. I don't even remember afterwards, but
you mercifully blocked it out.
Yeah. You're like, can we please just get back to Monday?
So at that point, it was just like, okay, that's when we said, I think we're not eating out on Mother's Day anymore. And we'd already made that decision on Valentine's. Like, we're not going out on Valentine's anymore. So we just added that holiday to our list of got to find something else to do.
Do not eat out.
That's right.
Okay. So let's talk about what you're hoping for Mother's Day this year, because it really does change over the years. Like Mindy said, if your kids are young or getting older, or now that you're getting an adult, like what do you think you're hoping for as a midlife mom this year?
Gosh, it really does change throughout the year. Like saying you want to go somewhere without your kids no longer applies when they're adults. So the ideal Mother's Day would just be to all be together and I don't know, even just having dessert, spending the afternoon together, maybe taking a walk or I don't know. It's just hard. I think this year is going to be a hard Mother's Day and not being able to have your family all together makes holidays hard anyway. Because we haven't been able to do that with our daughter away. And so I don't know. I think I need to have no expectations for Mother's Day. Because that, when time together is what you want and you can't have that's just hard to kind of figure out.
Well, one thing I would say to you is that I think your boys are like really willing to plan and step it up. Like I remember when Andrew had already taken the day off from work right before John died so that he could spend your birthday the next week with you. Like, I think if your boys are aware that this is a special day to you, they will plan.
Yeah, they've been really good about that. And they've stepped up and even just coming over to dinner, they insist they wash all the dishes. They never let me touch anything. Like they're really good. So, I just wish we were all together, but they will make it special. I know. So, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. And I know if your daughter was here, she would also be there,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Julie, I know my mom feels the same way. It's a hard day for her because we can't be all together. And so having a long distance relationship makes it difficult. I mean, it really changes the landscape of how you celebrate and when you celebrate. And so I know that when I do see my parents, Mother's Day is going to get lost in graduation. Like they're going to be here for graduation. Grant has a birthday the week before graduation. And and then Bryce and my anniversary is right there too, which always, I mean, like, what else can we add? But I do long to be with my mom. I know that Carol would long to be with Bryce, and we're distant. And so it's always been hard. So we try to take the moments, we try to do what we can, but I think that it's a bittersweet time if you can't be together, because you do really want to be with your kids. Yeah. And then having all your kids together, my brother and I are also long distance. So it's really hard to get my brother and I and parents together.
Yeah. No, that's a good word, because there's a lot of people listening that are in that situation. Mindy, so that's a good reminder. One of the things that I read that a lot of mothers are hoping for on Mother's Day is that they're hoping for more photos. And I think that the mom is usually the one taking the photos, instigating the need for photos, trying to cajole the family into family photos. And it said that one survey I read that said that what moms really want this year is updated family photos. Mothers surveyed estimated that they're in less than 45% of the portraits displayed in their home with their immediate family. So if you want to show her you really care this year, set up a self-timer and get the whole fam in a pic to print out and display for years to come. And I do think that, like, I've heard of this, like people gift their parents like a family photo session, and then, like they all plan to take one. Or I know you don't have to do that every year, but I do think like a family photo means a lot, and to have one 2 years or so within the time that you are right now means a lot. And so I think that that's something that can get lost in the shuffle. So I really liked that idea that mothers would appreciate the desire for pictures with them in it, and that they would desire their family to happily take a picture. Mindy and Julie, that it can sometimes be It can be emotionally laboring to even get your family to take a picture. Like there's a lot of complaints, and people are complaining about what they're going to wear and what the time they have to get there. And another one, we have to smile again. And, like it can, and maybe just like taking a family photo without any complaints, that would fall under the Mother's Day without arguments.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even need the family photo. I don't necessarily want that anymore, but I do like snapshots, with each kid or whatever. I do really like that.
Yes.
Nothing formal, just documenting the day,
Right.
Yeah. So that's a good idea for people to keep in mind. And then I would say this year, I want everyone to get together, and I feel so happy that people are able to get together. They're close enough. They live in close enough proximity. I am very, very thankful for that. And I would also, appreciate any decision that I don't end up having to make. Like if someone else says, let's have this to eat, or let's do this activity, or let's, me not making the decisions feels like a relief sometimes.
Yeah, it would be fun to just say, hey, be ready at this time and we'll pick you up, just to not know what you're even going to do.
Know. Maybe I'm too controlling.
It's not about the thing to me. It's not about the thing.
Right.
I want to pick my favorite ice cream place. And if I don't tell them that we're going there, they're going to take me to the other place that's not my favorite.
Well, maybe they should say, Mom, we're taking you out for ice cream. Where do you want to go? You can go here or there.
I have learned to speak up. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe that's a good thing.
Bad thing. No.
But I'm definitely getting my ice cream place on Mother's Day.
Also, Mindy, you still have 3 boys that are not married. And I think that when they're married or they have a serious girlfriend, that girl helps them to think of better ideas for the holidays. So you have to still be thinking up a lot. But I feel like my daughters and Maddie could come up with something good. I don't have to worry that they're going to pick drag racing. They already know I'm not going to like drag racing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And having Abby be 24 years old now, she and Bryce will work together. This is the best, because She'll help organize. He can help things on this end. And then when her and Joey are here, they can pull off something amazing. But I am going to put my family on notice. All those coupon books I have received through all the years of last minute ideas, I'm cashing in. I'm finding those babies and I am cashing those in. All the foot rubs.
Yeah. All the hugs. When your son was 5 and gave you a foot rub and you turned it in when he's 18, he's like, I'm sorry, that's expired, Mom.
No, cashing in this year. Find those coupon books, ladies. I know you've got them.
He's like, we no longer offer that service.
I know. Bryce finally told Grant, this was not more than like 2 years ago. You cannot make your mom a coupon book. You're like 20 years old.
Yeah. Now, see, Grant needs a serious girlfriend. Then you'll get a better present.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, Mindy has a quiz for us. She has a would you rather have this or rather have that Mother's Day quiz, which I think fits right in with what we've been talking about.
All right. So I kind of had fun thinking of different things that we could probably do. Now, we have talked about a few of these, but I'm still going to ask them anyway. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start out very light. Would you rather have coffee or tea?
Tea.
Coffee. Would you rather shop online or go shopping?
Is this with your kids?
Like with your kids?
I think you can answer that. I was just thinking of like your personal preferences. So if they're like, I want to get mom a gift.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, would you rather shop online or would you rather actually go shopping?
Online.
I'd probably do it online.
Yeah, kind of me too.
Unless they're driving and then I don't have to park or anything. That's nice.
There you go.
If you take the driving and parking away, I'll go with you.
If I turn that chauffeur coupon in, then
yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. Would you rather go out to eat or eat at home?
I could do either. What I would rather have is just not to have had to make it. So I could do either.
Okay. Okay. You're open.
Yeah.
Julie?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably prefer to eat at home, but if they had taken care of all the details and it was out, then I'd be okay with that.
Yes. Yes. I think I would have to say that I would eat at home, but I would probably ask Bryce to grill something specific.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know my kids are old enough that they can help make other things. Mm-hmm. So even Nathan, like he's our brownie guy now. So he can make brownies.
Perfect.
Which I would just put, you know what I mean? I'd give everybody. And I don't mind telling them. Okay. Would you rather have a homemade gift or a store-bought gift?
I think it depends. Like I've gotten some really special homemade gifts and then I've gotten some really special store-bought gifts. So I really think I think I want to see that there was a personal thought behind the gift.
Yeah, because my daughter makes me a lot of stuff and I love it. But if there was a time where she couldn't do that and, like that's fine too. I don't really wouldn't demand either one, but yeah, just the thought put into it, I think says a lot.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I could go either way. I'm right there with you guys with that. Some of my favorite things are handwritten letters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my favorite thing. It's like gift of words, I guess. Okay. Would you rather, now this has 3 options. Would you rather flowers from your yard, flowers delivered from a florist, or none at all?
If they wanted to go the flower route, then I would probably like something that I could plant in the garden, like some kind of special perennial or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say flowers. I love flowers. From my yard, I don't really have any, so I don't know.
Where they're going to have to take your own pots out.
Yeah, I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. But yeah, I definitely like casual flowers. I don't need a dozen roses necessarily, just casual flowers. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going with the same answer as Marie. I want something. I mean, I don't want to go to Publix and wait in the car while they buy it, but I would love to have something for my yard.
Yeah. And then when it bloomed every year, you could remember that they wanted you to have that.
That's my Mother's Day plant. Absolutely. Okay. Would you rather have a spa day or a day with your family?
If it's a day with my family and nobody's fighting and we're doing something fun together, yeah, I'd rather have that. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not a spa person.
You know what? Me neither. 3 and 3 here. Yeah, I'm not a spa person. So, but I'm with Marie. They can't be fighting. All right. Would you rather get dressed up or dress casually?
Definitely casual.
I mean, I could get behind dressing up if we're going somewhere fun, you know. But I could also do casual. Like, I'm open to either.
And then I can hear you, as long as somebody else tells me what's going on.
And they tell me what to wear. Tell you what to wear.
They make that, yes. Thankfully, you have girls that will dress you.
Yeah.
That's so great. Okay, this is an easy one. Would you rather watch a movie or read a book on Mother's Day?
I would like to sit down and watch a movie that we all enjoy. That would be fun. Or we went to a family movie. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd pick the movie because that is something we do as a family, family movie nights that we still do. And I like that. So,
Yes, I'm in that stage now. I definitely, when the kids were younger, I would have asked for, can I just have like a couple hours to read a book by myself?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a stage of life thing.
It is. But now I'm with you guys. If everyone will do it together and it's something we're all enjoying, that would be a lot of fun. Okay. So this was kind of a fun question. Would you rather explore locally or travel overseas?
Well, I'd rather travel overseas. Is this a big Mother's Day? We're going
this
overseas.
This is like, think big. Okay. Yeah. Think big. Like, we're just dreaming here.
Oh yeah. Overseas, but.
So where would you guys want to go? Actually, I'm curious.
I mean, I'd seriously go anywhere. Well, I shouldn't say that. I want to go anywhere in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, don't take me to South America.
Okay. Where would you go, Julie?
Probably France.
Okay. Well, I'm coming with y'all because I definitely want to go overseas and I definitely want to go any place in Europe, pretty much. So I can't wait for time to travel. And so that was kind of my this or that quiz. But I really liked some questions that Julie thought of, and maybe this is a great place to put those questions. Okay. So we can kind of transition our talk to who is your favorite TV mom?
I have to say Frankie Heck. I know she's not the perfect TV mom, but I love watching her. And there are so many things she goes through in parenting that I can relate to. I love her honesty, her sense of humor, her realistic portrayal of an everyday mom trying to do the best she can with imperfection in life. Her kids aren't perfect. Her husband isn't perfect. Her financial situation isn't perfect. I mean, she, to me, Frankie Heck on the middle, like, I laugh so hard, and there are always things that she helps me think harder about, and I just love her as a TV mom.
Yeah, she did come to mind because she's just so funny. But I don't know, the first mom that came to my mind, because I loved this show, and I have to have a disclaimer here. I know this show has fallen into a lot of controversy, but in the 80s, I absolutely loved The Cosby Show, and Claire Huxtable was my favorite TV mom.
Yes.
Just she was brilliant. She was an attorney. She was a working mom, but yet she loved her kids and was there for them, and she loved her husband, and they always prioritized their marriage. They had 5 or 6 kids, but their marriage was always first. Like, they always specifically made that a point, that the kids came second. And I don't know, I just always thought she was a fun mom.
Oh, I love both of those, and I totally agree actually with both of those. And then the only other mom that I thought of, it was from when I was little. And I remember always being very impressed with the mom on Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
I grew up watching that. I can't remember what her name was on the show.
Caroline Ingalls.
Caroline. I remember being very impressed with her because I felt like she kind of handled everything with grace and kindness, and she fought hard battles. I mean, some of those episodes, some of the things they went through, for her loving her husband, loving each child, not seeing her children as perfect, but I remember her helping her daughters with Nellie, who was constantly, who was constantly a thorn, and helping them gracefully navigate that. I feel like she walked through so many scenarios, and I'm like, wow, this is a strong, graceful, loving woman, but she was so strong. I mean, to handle all those things.
All while living out on the prairie,
And then there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, who is your favorite movie mom?
This was a little harder, but I loved the mom in Cheaper by the Dozen, Bonnie Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just think she was a fun mom, and I just love that movie. That's a kind of a family favorite of ours. And I also liked Mrs. Incredible because I love Holly Hunter.
Yes.
And, she was the flexible mom, and just always had her kids back and just did everything.
Oh, those are great. I love those too. Yes, Julie.
Even though she's not a real person.
Yeah.
She's awesome, though. I totally agree with you.
I could not think of a movie mom. I don't know. I don't feel like I get to know a mom enough. Like in a TV series or a book, over the course of a movie, I can't think of a multifaceted mom that I can even think of.
Right.
I feel like they're always like a secondary character.
Yeah. I looked at like my favorite movies, and they weren't necessarily ones that even had moms in them. But.
Okay. Well, then let's move to the third question, because my movie mom and book mom are the same person.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So who is your favorite book mom?
Well, for that one, I had to say Caroline Ingalls, because I think in the books, she's even better than in the TV show. Like in the books, you see way more aspects of her character than they could really show in the TV. And I read what someone else put. It said, when it comes to awesome moms in literature, Ma is one of the best. She's the 1800s version of a supermom. Eternally patient and kind, Ma doesn't let the hard times get her down. She braves the dangerous American frontier and doesn't shy away from the difficult and often frightening situations that come with that. And more than that, she teaches her daughters what it means to be a strong woman at a time when women were often overlooked. So she really is awesome in the books. And I think sometimes people kind of, they're like, oh, Ma Ingalls. But I think that's only because they watched the show. They didn't read the books.
Oh, that's funny, because I got that just from watching the show.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people do. But I think in today's environment, people kind of maybe view her kind of a bit as a doormat and stuff like that. But I don't think that's really true.
No,
not at all.
Well, that's really funny because she was my book mom too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I just think about being asked to live on the prairie where so many unknowns and moving away from city life, and like how hard that must have been. But she was always supportive and loving. And I liked how she had, and this was, from the show too, just she had feelings, real feelings of anger and upset when people like Nellie Olson and but she always, got that under control. You saw it was real, but she got it under control and led her daughters and to do the right thing. So yeah.
Who was yours, Mindy?
Okay. Well, it's funny I brought up Caroline. But now my favorite book and movie mom is Mrs. Weasley from Harry Potter.
Yes.
Oh. She is the spunkiest, trying to keep all her brood in a row, like her clock on the wall that shows where everybody is. I love that, but I love her in the final scene. She's my favorite person in the final showdown between Voldemort and Harry Potter. And when she kills Beatrix in the final show, anyways, she's like fighting for her family. And so I love that she loves her people well, but I love that she's willing to fight too. And she's like, she's just the most precious, spunky, redheaded little feisty woman.
She is funny. She was one of my favorite movie moms, but I'd never read the books, so I couldn't count her.
Yes.
As a book mom. Yeah.
I did see her on a lot of lists, Mindy, so you're not alone.
Oh, I love her. Love her.
All right, listeners, we hope that this episode on Mother's Day has been something that made you laugh, maybe encouraged you, maybe gave you some ideas for Mother's Day. we do love our own mothers, and we love being mothers, and we talk a lot of tongue in cheek about, the different things that can go wrong on Mother's Day, but we feel privileged to be in positions where we are celebrated on Mother's Day, and we love our families. Yes. If you want to talk about this some more, come and find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of something that's already been mentioned, but Mindy mentioned, I think it was last week, about watching The Baxters. So I started the next day and I finished season 1 and I'm really enjoying it. It's just kind of an easy show to watch. Well, it's pretty dramatic, but I don't know. It's just, I'm really enjoying it. So good suggestion.
Yeah. And Mindy, I've been watching it too. It's like predictable, but yet also makes you want to push play on the next episode. And each episode is only 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
So if you thought, well, I could either sit here and watch a 2-hour movie, or I could watch 6 Baxters, and you don't have to feel guilty about that.
I've not found it to be predictable, though. I mean, I've been kind of surprised by things that happen, because a lot of, I don't know, faith-based movies just won't maybe go to won't let certain things happen, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Well, I'm also binge watching it. So Mindy, now all 3 of us.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when I started watching, I was like, oh, I don't remember what happened. It's been such a long time since I read all of the books. Well, Bryce was into it enough that he was asking me a million questions. He's like, oh my goodness, like what's going to happen? I'm like, I cannot remember. I actually don't know. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, that was a lot of years ago that you read those books. So you'd have really awesome memory if you could still remember that.
Yeah.
All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of getting picture frames from TJ Maxx.
Oh. So
I have mentioned in my home before how I have to be careful about spending a lot of money on certain items because they could get broken, or, like my lamps. I just can't have nice lamps. I want lamps, but I can't have I can't spend money. Well, TJ Maxx is coming in clutch this season because I have been able to get multiple picture frames, and even some that are really large, like to put on the wall, that have like really nice mats already in them, and I can just go ahead and print off a picture from Walgreens.
That's nice.
And like they're like really nice. And so I have been impressed this season with being able to find like some larger picture frames that like for the wall. And so and they're like $20. So I mean, you just can't beat that.
No.
So then if it happens to get knocked off the wall, I'm not out that much money.
Yeah. You need to tell your boys to quit wrestling and playing ball in the house.
On Mother's Day.
I know, right? On Mother's Day. They have no idea where their big bodies are at. Like they're so tall and big, like it's almost like you almost have to just watch out for them. They don't know where their arms are, their legs, or
yeah.
So that's a neat idea to put your own artwork in there. I like that.
Yes, I've been impressed to be able to find these. So it's cheap, it's easy, and they look great.
That's good. That's a good tip. All right, this week I'm a fan of a book. It's called The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon, Lawhon. And this is Good Morning America book club pick. It's NPR Book of the Year. Like whenever I see a book has a lot of like picks, or if it's like Jenna's book club read, I'm already like clicking on like, well, what's the description? And so, I love a good historical mystery where people are facing the elements and,
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, it says this is a gripping historical mystery inspired by the life and diary of Martha Ballard, a renowned 18th century midwife who defied the legal system and wrote herself into American history. So it actually is based on a true story. And it's about a midwife who at that time was kind of called on to almost do like an autopsy of somebody that they find frozen, murdered in a lake. And then her testimony kind of helps to find the murderer, but there's more layers than that. But it was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I listened to it. So I listened to the audiobook. But I see a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people posting about it, that they enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something new, you might check out The Frozen River.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I loved this discussion. This was fun. And thanks for being willing to laugh and share about Mother's Day.
We got to keep laughing.
Yeah.
We need to make it as great as Father's Day, y'all.
Someday.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week.
All right. Bye.
Sounds great. Bye.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.